Hello and welcome to Performance Testing Hub. I'm Nikhil. Today we will be having a working session on VuGen. VuGen is that component of LoadRunner which is used for scripting. I assume you have seen my previous video where I described about different components of LoadRunner. If not, then the link is present inside description. I recommend you to watch that. Let's start with our today's session then. For today's session, we'll be using LoadRunner's dummy application, which is known as Web2s. So if you have already installed LoadRunner, just search Web2s here. You will get this Start HP Web2 server. Click on it. This will start the server of your application. Minimize this. Again, come to search bar, search Web2s. It shows Web2 application. Click on it. So this is the application which we will be using in our today's demo to create a script. So the default credential for this is Jojo and Bean. Bean is the password in small letters. Just click on login. So this application is basically for booking a dummy flight. We'll click on flight. Let's search one flight. We'll select one flight. So this is the payment details. It's a demo site, so we don't have to give anything, just continue. So this has booked our flight. Let's do a sign off. So this is the scenario which we'll be creating script for using VuGen. So next step is let's start the VuGen. To start VuGen, come to the search bar, write VuGen. Click on this. It will open our VuGen. So this is the start page of the VuGen. So we will go on File, New Script and Solution. The first thing which we need is to select a protocol. Protocols are nothing but a system of rules which allows two or more entities to communicate with each other. So VuGen provides you option of single protocol and multiple protocols. So there are certain applications which requires only one protocol for recording, and there are certain applications which requires more than one protocol to be selected in order to record. So the first step shows you what are the protocols available for single protocol recording. Second option shows you what are the list of protocols available for multiple protocol recording. And for example, if I select one protocol, so all the protocols which support this particular protocol's combination will be enabled, rest will be disabled. Next option is the mobile. So what are protocols which supports mobile application recording and creation of script will be shown here. These are the list of popular protocols and these are the list of recent protocols. Our application is a web-based application, so I just require single protocol and we'll be recording through web HTTP HTML. So I just select it. I will write a name demo1. I am giving location by default and click on create. The VuGen interface is divided into 4 parts. The left part shows you the scripts which you have recorded and related contents. The right part is used mainly when you are creating the script. The bottom part is used mainly when you are debugging or replaying your script, and the middle part is the editor where actually your script is being created and you can see all the functions and you can do the customization. So we will see each of these parts during when we are creating the scripts. So as and when we are using those parts, I will just let you know. But for now, let's start with the recording. So before we start this recording, I will just show you what are the recording options I am using. This is very important because based on what recording options you have selected, your scripts will be generated. So I am going with all the default options of the recording except few things. So in recording options, one thing I have changed is I have selected URL based scripts, and in URL advanced I have selected create concurrent groups. And another change which I have done is I have disabled correlation scan and async scan. So apart from this, I am going with the default settings. So I'm not going into deep in the recording options. I will be creating a different video for that because altogether it's a huge topic. So I will be covering it in a different video. So now let's start. So this is the button which will start our recording. We'll click on it. This pop-up will come. So it is showing recording will be done in the action. So this is the action tab where our function and script will be present. Recording mode, web browser. So we will be using, we have different options if it is application, Windows application, or remotely you are accessing. So but here we'll be using web browser. The application, so that means which web browser you want to use. Do you want to use IE, you want to use Chrome, or if you have Mozilla Firefox, then it will show Mozilla Firefox as well. I am going with the Chrome. Next is URL address. So here you have to specify the URL of your application. So this is the URL of our web tools application which we are using. So it is mentioned here. Next is start recording. So you have two options. So if you click on immediately, so as soon as I click on start recording, everything which is coming on my browser will start recorded. But if I go in the delayed mode, so it allows to open the browser and it allows to open the application, and whenever I am clicking on the start recording, it will start recording from that time. So I am going with the in delayed mode. Okay, so once you have done these changes, just click on delete start. So based on setting we have used, so our application URL is open on the Chrome browser, you can see here, and until I am clicking on this, it is not recording anything. So I will go ahead and I will click on this recording button. So now recording is started. So along with doing activities, what I will do is I will also parallelly create the transactions. So this helps us to find out which request was recorded when what activity we performed. So first activity we'll be performing is the login. So I will just give name as login for this transaction, and now I will do login. So I will put credentials. Click. My login activity is done, so I will close this transaction. My next activity will be to click on the flight button. So I will create a new transaction with name, click flight button. Okay, I created this transaction and then I perform this activity. So you first have to create the transaction and then you have to perform the transaction, perform the activity, and once that activity is done, just close that transaction. Okay, so my next thing is to find a flight. So I will give the name as find. You can give any name to your transaction. Only thing is it should make sense to what activity you are performing. So I just perform this activity of finding the flight. I close this transaction, and now next is selecting a flight. So I will click here, select flight. Okay, I'm selecting this first one. I will click on continue, and this transaction is done. So I will close this transaction. Now next is payment. So I will give transaction name as payment. Click OK. So this is a dummy application, so no need to give any details. I can just click on continue. Payment is done, so I will close this transaction. So now our ticket is booked. So last step will be sign up. So I will write name as sign out of my transaction and I click on sign off. So this completes the steps which we intended to do on this application. So I will stop my recording. So once we stop our recording, it will take some time to generate the script. So as you can see now, our script is ready. So we can see all the requests which was sent during the activities we performed on the application. So I will just show you. So what is the use of transactions? For example, if you see here, so this was my start transaction. So that means when I clicked on login button, so these are the requests which was sent by the browser till this here for this section. Okay, so here it's LR and transaction. That means here that particular transaction was ended, and when I clicked on the flight button, so this was the set of requests which was sent. So that's why it helps. So which request was sent for which kind of activity. So what we'll do is we'll just straightforward run this. I know that we will be getting some errors, but I want to show you that. So I will click on run. So now it is running our script which we have just recorded. So this is the runtime viewer. It shows you so what response we are getting when you are running this scripts in a real time. So our execution is done. It is so as I told you that the bottom place will be used when we are running or when we are debugging the script. So it is showing you replay as passed, but actually it's not passed. I will show you why. We'll go over, we'll click here. So now we'll be using this bottom pane. So in bottom pane you have an option known as snapshot. So we'll click on it, and here we will select split. Okay, so what it will do is it will show us. Here we'll select first way, here we'll select recording, and here we'll select replay. Okay, so now what it will do is it will show us so what request we sent and what response we got during recording, and what request we sent and what response we got during replay. Okay, so this helps us to compare that are we getting correct response or expected response or not. Okay, so we can see either at the response or we can see at the page view also. So we'll go with the page view. So we can compare that are we getting the same page or not what we were expecting. So we'll go to each request one by one. So here see, so during recording we got this page, and during replay also we got this page. So this is correct. Okay, let's move to next request. Next request. So the request. Okay, so here you see it is say you have reached this page incorrectly. We were not expecting this response. Okay, so that means our script is not working as expected. We need to do some customization on it. Fine. So now I will tell you what customization needs to be done and what all things needs to be done in order to make this script working as expected. So the first thing is as you know that this is the application URL. Okay, so we just want to hit this particular application and we don't want to hit any other application. So first thing what I will be doing is I will just trace through this script, and I will just comment out what are requests going outside of this application. So if you see this, see this is not my application, it is going to Google APIs, and I know that my application is not using this and I am not interested in hitting these APIs. So I will just comment out this. So this is the command this is the syntax we use to commenting. So all you see, all these are requests are not going to my application till here. So I commented out this, and now again we'll trace further. So this is going to my application, so I will not comment it out. Trace down. All these are going to my application. Again, this is not going to my application. I don't want to send it. So again, it depends. So if your application involves multiple hits, indirect hits, it totally depends. But right now I don't want, I'm not interested in this request. I'm just commenting it out. So we'll just trace further. So these are going to my application, so I will keep those things. Yes, I will keep this also. This is going to my application. Okay, fine. So first step is done. So I just commented out which all request is not going to my application. Second thing is we need to find out is any session ID is being generated, session ID, authorization token, something like this. And usually this is generated once you have done the login. So we will just trace it down for those kind of keywords. So where is our login? So this is our login. Oh yes, if you see here, user session, and this is the value. Okay, so this is the main reason why our script is not working, because when user session ID is generated dynamically, that means whenever you are doing a login, this value will change, and we need to pass this value. So that means unless and until we are passing correct value, we won't be able to navigate to next correct page. Okay, so now I will just show you that how to capture this value. So usually, so for example, here in this request we have to send this user session. So generally you can find this particular value in a request one before this. So one before this means if you go up, so this is the request which was sent just before that request. So we will go here and we will try to find the session ID and response. So I just clicked on HTTP data, so it is showing me what request I have sent and what response I got during my recording. So what I will do is I will just click here, I will do Control F, and I will try to find session, just a keyword session. Okay, so it found something. You see, it found the session value here. Okay, so that means from this, in the response of this request, I am getting a session value which I need to pass in the request which I have to send after this. So that means I need to save this value in a parameter so that I can pass this in my next request. So I will show you how to do this. This particular thing is known as correlation. So again, this is a huge topic. There are multiple things which we need to see, but I am just showing you a simple correlation. So what we will do is we'll just copy this whole sentence, copy, and now we need to add a function which will be used to capture this value. So in the text box, so on the right side, as I told you, the right side is used when you are customizing your script. So we need to add a function. The function name is web_rec save param ex. So you have to just drag and drop it above that request. Okay, so parameter name I am giving session_id, left boundary. So okay, so I will just tell you how to find left boundary and right boundary. But notepad. So I am just pasting the sentence which we have copied from the response. So we are interested in this particular value. So whatever is coming, whatever unique syntax coming before this is known as the left boundary, and whatever is coming on the right side of this value is known as the right boundary. So this is the left boundary for us. I am just copying this and I am giving this left boundary here, and on the right boundary I am just copying this and I am giving this in the right boundary. Just leave all the other values as it is and click on OK. So if you see here, it has inserted one function here. So make sure that you have added above. So in this particular request, I want to capture the response. So I have put this function above this for session ID. Next step is to change the value with this parameter name. So we'll just go down. So this is the value we have just correlated. So we will replace this with the parameter where we are saving the dynamic value. So name is session ID, this, and just save it. Okay, so now you have correlated it. And one more thing you have to do is in the runtime settings, just go and make sure that in the logs section you have enabled extended logs and parameter substitution. Click on save. So this is because now you have substituted a value with a parameter. So when we replay this script, we want to make sure that we are getting the expected value in that parameter. So now I will just go ahead, I will run this, replay this, and see. Okay, so again we got a script passed, but I need to see that whether I am getting expected response for all the requests or not. So first was where I was getting error. So this was there. I will select this. I will go in the snapshot pane, select hit replay. I will select hit recording and the page view. So see, both were blank. Last time we were getting here some message like you have landed into an error page. We are not getting that, so we are good here. Click here. So here we are getting both same. So see here, this is recording and this is replay. So in both places we are getting welcome Jojo. That means this is also working as expected. Okay, everything looks good now. Go down randomly. Payment details. Successful reservation. Okay, if you see here, time is also different. This is 17, this is 18. That means this is of the replay. Okay, invoice. And finally login page. Okay, so this confirms that our script is working fine as expected. We are able to replay it and we are getting the expected response. Okay, so now our objective is done. So now we have a working script. Now let's see what other options available inside VuGen. So let's start with this left pane. So here the first thing is the action. So here we have three options: VUser init, VUser action, and VUser end. So generally what happens is your login of your application will record some init part, and then all the actions which we are performing on our application is recorded in the application part, action part, and the logout is recorded in the VUser end part. But it's not hard and fast. So what is the difference between action and init is, for example, let's say you are running 10 iterations of this script. That means one user is running this script 10 times. So whatever present inside init will get executed only once. This action part will get executed 10 times, and this end section will get executed once. That means if a single user is running this script for 10 times, then it will do once login, which is present inside init, and it will perform all the actions 10 times, which is present under this action, and it will perform a logout, which is present inside end. But in our case, we have recorded everything inside action tab. So if I am running 10 iterations of this, the user will perform 10 times login, 10 times all the actions, and 10 times logout. So this is the difference if you are putting your actions in init and end. So next, one more option present inside is the runtime settings. So you have many settings which you can change, which will be impacting your replay of this, and also your execution when you are running with multiple users. This parameter section shows if you have used any parameters in your application. Replay runs shows the result of your replays. And also here you have this option of step navigator. So it shows all the steps present inside your script. So if I want to directly go to any of the step, I can click here and it will move me to that part. So step navigator is very useful in order to, if you want to find a particular function or step in your script. So this is on the left pane. On the bottom pane you have output. So it shows you the logs. For example, we have started in our replay, we have started the extended logs. So it shows all the logs which was recorded when I was running this script. So if you see here, so we correlated this session ID. So it is showing me what value it captured when I was replaying it, and it will also show in the bottom that it has substituted this session ID with this parameter. So such kind of things we can see in the output pane, and if we are getting any errors or warnings, we can see in this error panes. Runtime data, if we are using any for example, here we have substituted session ID, so this kind of things will be shown in this runtime data. In snapshot we have already used it, so it provides you like a single or a split. So in usually we use split, and here we'll say recording, and here we say replay, and we can see all the requests sent and the response, what response we get during recording and what response we are getting at the time of replay. So we can see and compare those things here. And the right hand side we have this very useful steps toolbox, which is used to use a number of functions. So it gives you a number of functions which you can drag and drop and use while customizing your script. And also it shows the properties. And apart from this, you can also have different layouts here. For example, right now I was working on the default layout, but depending on what activity you are performing, for example, if you are replaying, so you may go to replay layout. So if you just click on this, so it will just change to replay layout. So it will show you all the different options which will be useful when you are doing replay. So such kind of options are also available. I will just go back to default layout. So that's all for this session, and I hope this session gave you a basic idea on how you can create a script and do a basic customization to make your script working. So in my next video I will be showing you how you can use this script to run with the multiple users with the use of controller, which is the second component of load runner. And thanks everyone, and do subscribe to my channel to get regular updates. Thanks.